Live yet? I'm live. I'm about to duck down. I'm back. I dropped my brush, and we know that I can't make it through a live without brushing my hair. So it's just got to happen. All right, I need to do the thing where I say, "Hey everyone, we're talking InkersCon Recap and other assorted things." Oh, I was logged into a different account on Facebook, and I went and it said join group, and I was like, what do you mean join the Writing Wives group? I'm pretty sure I've joined. All right. I mean, right? I think I joined up with the Writing Wives. Totally. All right, everyone. You can do it, everyone. Hey, honey. There. Everyone comment is made. I hope that everyone who's here has had a fantabulous week thus far. We are 1.5 days from the weekend. I mean, if you count the weekend starting at like 5 or 6 o'clock on Friday, we're like only like a solid 28 hours, 29 hours from the weekend. At least for me. You may or may not be closer. If you live on the other side of the planet, you may already be there. Who knows? Or closer, I guess. Yeah, the kids in the pool are a bit loud. I can hear Violet like plain as day through the window. Eva has some friends over, and they've been here for 2 days, something like that. I think it's great. I mean, eventually we should probably send them home to their families, so they can get like fresh changes of clothing and fed. Well, I mean, we've been feeding them, but we might not be. They're probably not eating as. We're letting them have pizza and stuff, right? Like eventually, they should get fed. Like a bunch of parentally fed meals where you have no choice, but you have to eat the good things. This is just party time at our house. It'd be kind of cool if our house kind of became like a hangout party house for Eva and her friends. So I'd be down with that. That's Molly. Oh, was that Molly? Oh wow, I've never heard Molly be. Maybe a bunch of times I thought that it was Violet being loud. It was Molly that was being loud. Yeah, I guess this is the third day. We've hit 2 consecutive 24-hour periods, and we're now moving into the third 24-hour period of Eva's friends being over. But again, I think it's cool. It's actually pretty nice out today here in New England. It's just shy of 70 degrees, and the sun's coming and going here and there. Although I think it's going to be warm today and tomorrow, and it's going to be cold and rainy again for 3 or 4 more days, and then theoretically we finally get summer. I'm not holding my breath. There have been Junes where we didn't get summer at all. We had to wait until July, and I'm getting a feeling that this is one of them. So how's everyone doing? Who else here? Shout out, say hi. I'm going to talk a bit about how things were at InkersCon, which is the con I was at this past weekend. It is my hands down favorite convention, although this time it felt rushed. I don't know. I didn't feel like I got enough time to really soak it in. I got in later on Friday, and I left Monday morning, so I really only had 2 full days, and I usually like to have a little bit more acclimate and decompression time on either side of it. Oh, hi Maria, I missed your comment about. Nice to see you. So InkersCon, of course, is a writing convention. It is not a tattoo convention. Some people get confused by that, and it's just really high quality. It's put on by Alessandra Torre, and it's got good speakers. This year we had her name's Misty. She's a clean Christian romance author. She was really interesting to talk with. I didn't get to go to her session, but she does a lot of really big stuff with marketing and advertising. She knows her stuff quite well. LT Ryan, the thriller author, was there giving a talk, and he's a fascinating individual and is really, really doing big things. Jonathan Brazy was there talking about co-authoring because he's doing a bunch with Jan Chaney, who's a big sci-fi author. Deanne Powell was there, and she was talking about productivity with another author. She writes under Diana Zarisa. She writes cozy mysteries, and she has 3 series with 2 series with 26 books and 1 with 25, and then she has 2 other series in the works. And she sort of got herself on this alphabet murder thing at the beginning, and is now basically committed to writing 26 book series all the time. And Misty was super nice. She was like the most professionally dressed person there too. I thought she was a rep from Amazon at first or something like that. And then it turns out she was another author. And then there's me, like the least and most professionally dressed at the same time, right? It's my jam. Because I wore only latex the entire time, of course. I would be wearing latex today, but I just was a little bit tired this morning. But I'm going to make it a little more of a regular thing, dressing up. I've kind of regressed into t-shirt and leggings this year, and I'm kind of missing being fancy a bit. But what did I learn? Well, I learned a really interesting thing in Alex Liddell's class, and that was that I've been thinking about plotting wrong all of this time. And she came at plotting from a story structure standpoint and just how to think about your stories in a slightly more structured way, and then just pants the heck out of them once you've got your structure down. So during her class, I'm like, hey, I don't plot, whatever, but I'll go there to support a friend kind of thing. And then at the end of it, I had a 3-page plot outline for a story that I really want to write. So that can happen. I'm curious who amongst, I asked everybody to say hi and no one said hi. Oh, Facebook user said hi. Who's Facebook user? It says Maria. I don't know who else we got here. Maria said hi, and then someone else said hi, but I don't know who they are. It just says Facebook user hi. You're going to photobomb me again with your spatulas? I mean, you are totally welcome to photobomb me with your spatulas. I think that's actually like required. Oh, another person's Facebook user just says hello. Hello, Facebook user. Normally I use I have the chat open in Facebook to show me, but it's like not updating properly. So I'm not actually seeing all the chat. Let me try opening this up in a bigger window to see if it'll show me all the comments. Todd, hey Todd, how's it going? Todd Leatherman. Oh, and Kimberly, I see your name now, and Amy. Yay! All the peoples. Awesome. So I'm curious, of those who are here, who's a pantser and who's a plotter. I always find, I mean, I'm not going to get a big long discussion about pantsing and plotting. I'm just kind of curious. My biggest problem with plotting is I always feel like it took the excitement out of the story for me, because then I knew it was going to happen, and I like not knowing what's going to happen. But I feel like the outline I came up with by just thinking about story structure and not plot is actually like giving me all of the ideas that a lot of the ideas I would get through the plotting, through the writing process, with only like 45 minutes of thinking. 'Cause that's always been the big thing. Is like, I don't want to spend days doing plotty work and then just throwing it away. It's got a pantser and a plotter. So Samantha Andrews is a pantser. Amy's a pantser. Shoot, it's not showing me who said plotter. I don't see that comment over on this side. That's pesky. Facebook is failing me here. Plantser. I missed that, actually. It was Amy that said plantser. I like plants too. I got plants right here. I mean, like, I always know where my books are going. I like having what I call like a North Star view of writing books, where I know where it's ending up, and it's like my guiding, is my my North Star. I'm like following it. I'm using it to navigate, but I don't really know what lies between here and there. I'm just using this North Star idea to keep me rolling. I do that with a lot of things, actually. I end up with I have a vision of how I want it to look, and getting that vision realized is the fun part of the journey for me. Oh, that was Todd. Okay. It's weird how it just decides not to show me some of the comments. It says there's 16 comments over on Facebook and shows me like 10 of them. It's like just messing with me. But yeah, so if you ever get a chance to hear Alex Liddell's talk on story structure, it's pretty interesting, and she does fun interaction with the group, with the audience, and you have to explain what your setting is, and then give her your different plot points, and then she tells you, whether or not you're actually like doing the turnabout there or layering in complexity, and you get some feedback from the peanut gallery too, of all the different people saying you should do this, and the default answer is always kill them, because we're all authors, and we always get excited about killing off characters and stuff, right? We're like, oh, how can we rain destruction down upon our poor characters? So yeah, that was fun. And the other thing I did with Alex, actually, was unrelated to her class is she was been before InkersCon, she'd actually reached out to me about some questions about Facebook ads and how I evaluate them and whatnot. And I'd gone through all that with her, and she was actually she's a very analytical person. Alex Liddell is not afraid to ask you the hard questions about how you came up with certain processes and what your logic is behind things, and then poke holes in them. And at the end, I think she was pretty satisfied with my methodology for how I did things. She's number one strategic on the she's number one analytical on the Clifton Strengths test, and I'm number one strategic. And so strategic people, we see the pattern and then we analyze it to understand why that pattern exists. Analytical people have trouble seeing the pattern. They need to really analyze the data, and then they can understand the pattern that's behind that. So we come at things from different directions. And I find it's really interesting. I find both groups of people are really important to have, because the strategic people can look out and you can spot all these different things that could work, but you really need the help of an analytical person to help you validate, unless you're very strong analytical yourself. I became strong analytical because I worked with a lot of very analytical people, and they forced me to like back my shit up, right? So I got good at that. And then analytical people oftentimes need strategic people because it gives them a little bit more direction. They're just not like blindly just losing themselves in data and analysis. And I kind of feel like that strategic and that analytical thing is very well aligned with pantsers versus plotters, right? Strategic people sort of have this vision in their mind, and they can come up with a vision and a high level thing really well. The details be damned, right? They'll figure those out later. And the analytical person has to figure out all the details before they can put together the big picture. So, hey, Monica, thanks for identifying who you all are. So that's really interesting. who the heck knows what's happening, writer? Yeah, I believe that you're, I mean, I already knew you're a maximizer, honey, but I totally believe that you will totally maximize. I've never agreed more with my tests on one of those things than I did with a Clifton Strengths test. I'm just like, yep, that's all me. I do have analytical further down, but like strategic and woo, includer is a really big one of mine. And I've had people tell me a lot of times that I'm always really inclusive and make everybody feel really welcome. And I was always like, really? I had no idea that I do that. But apparently I do. So go me. Oh, it's funny, Monica, the when you first did it, it showed up just as Facebook user, and your second comment, it actually showed up as Monica. It's just trolling us at this point. Hey, Vicky, how are you doing? Speaking of, I meant to mention this, Jill. I don't know if you remember when we were at 20 Books London back in beginning of 2018. Remember there was that one lady there who brought her daughter for Eva to hang out with, and they were the same age. She was at InkersCon, and we got to talk a bit, which was really cool. And she remembered that whole event. So yeah. Jill's the maximum. Jill's all mine, Monica. You can't have her. Oh, well, cool. I'm glad that the instructions work, because I've had some people say they followed the instructions and it didn't work. So that gives me hope that the instructions may work. Okay, never mind. I can't hold Jill back. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, I'm really stoked about where things are going with our business, by the way. I mean, I know you guys, I don't know exactly what everyone comes here for. Is it just to hear Mal talk about random topics? Is it that you hope I'll drop some nuggets about Facebook ads and whatnot? But Jill and I are always working on new ways to make it so that our business works for both us and anybody who wants to do business with us. Because, right now, and as we've done two things, right? We do like things where they're really inexpensive and we can give them to lots of people at a low price, like the webinars that we do. Although I'm kind of neurotic when it comes to research and preparation and whatnot for webinars, so they actually take a fair bit of time. So we've increased what we charge for them. But most of what we do is one-on-one consulting, right? Where we're going to sit down and work with you one-on-one on your ads and figure stuff out, which actually involves almost more time working on your ads while you're not consulting with us, because myself and my team, we have two people that work for us, really like to make sure that everything that we do for your ads is well thought out in advance. But at the same time, it's fairly expensive, And we're doing this new thing now. We're calling VIP days, where we bring on a cohort of people who typically write in the same genre, get everybody on together, and then I lead everyone in making some Facebook ads, maybe tuning some Facebook ads they already have, and getting things up and running. And the great thing is you get to learn not only from me instructing you, but the questions and feedback and tips that I give to everybody else as well. So it's not, so you're seeing more situations than just your situation, and that can be really useful, because then you're learning things that would take you a lot longer to learn, because you'd have to get into all those situations to learn those things. And now you'd be like, oh, I know that if this happens, this is what you can do, because I watched Mel teach someone else about that. So that's I'm really excited about that. I think our romance is gonna be the first one. When is it? It's in September, right, honey? Is when we're booking that one. And we've only got 2 slots left. And I work out all the details with Jill, and then I forget them. Because we talk about so many possibilities, I oftentimes forget what the final decision was. I don't forget like the whole conversation. I'm just like, shoot, we talked about 6 different ways of doing this. Which one was the one we decided on? I need to get better at making those notes about that sort of thing. But I think it's like 5 or 6 hours of instruction. And then people can add on an additional follow-up call, like a one-on-one follow-up call at some point later, like 2 to 4 weeks later, to sort of review how their ads went. But we'll spend like a solid 5 or 6 hours going over setting up ads, multiple types of ads. And we're going to walk through making a bunch of different types of ads. And then at the end of it, you may not run them all at once, but you'll have other ones ready to go. So you can test everything out in parallel. So I'm going to test all these different types of audiences, different types of ads, run them all in parallel, see which ones work. Or you're like, nope, I don't have the budget for that. I'm going to run them in serial. I'm going to do this test, and I'm going to do this test, and then I'm going to do this test. But you'll have them all ready to roll. So, oh, that's awesome, Vicky. You got the new book. I'm really, really happy with the new book. I think it looks amazing. I probably should consider maybe getting it done with slightly better paper, because some of the printing that Amazon does on this paper makes some of the text a little bit hard to read. But I think if you're like in the interface, it'll all make sense, because you can say like, I can't quite read that, but I can see it on my screen. That's what it says there. But I still think it's beautiful. And the fact I was able to do it in full color from the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter gave us enough money that we could give everybody in the Kickstarter to a full color copy, and then I was also able to make a full color copy as the default copy on Amazon. And I ended up doing that. It's more expensive. I have to charge $19 for it, but I think it's really worth it to see the color, because I talk about color, I talk about enhancing the quality of images and all sorts of things, and it just doesn't work if it was going to be a black or white book. I actually spent like a week really getting super high quality screenshots too, because when you're printing, you want 300 DPI for images, so that's really, in DPI is dots per inch. Well, computers are 72 DPI. They only have 72 dots per inch. Now, a 4K screen actually has 4 times that, because it's a high density pixels per inch is what a 4K screen does, or Retina screens on Apple devices. But if you grab a screenshot, it's still a 72 DPI screenshot. And so I had to like upscale all my screenshots by using like special software that like enhances images and stuff like that. And in the end, I think I made a really good product. The ebook is like, if you get the ebook from Amazon, it's going to be smaller and the images aren't going to be quite as good. But if you backed on the Kickstarter and got that version of the ebook, it's like 50 megs. It's a monster ebook because it's got really high quality images. I think the one on Amazon is around 12 megs because they downscale the images a lot. I am probably going to make it so you can buy the ebook directly from us as well, so that we could get that at higher quality. But I also feel like you could just get the print. And I think anybody who really wants really high quality images may just go for the print anyway. Oh, thanks, Vicky. Yay. I'm glad it looks really good in the Kindle Fire and phone. I have been like a little bit worried about that, but I'll trust you that you say it looks good. I actually got a new phone today. I'm really stoked about that. It's kind of funny because for the longest time, I've been running bigger phones because I want to do more things on them. So I've got, this is a Moto 1 Ace. I think it's a 6.1 inch phone. So it's like, it's about the size. It's not like the size of like a Note, but it's the size of like a, iPhone Plus, Samsung Ultra kind of phone. But I just got, because I dropped this and broke the screen. First day of InkersCon, dropped it on the floor, shattered the screen, just totally spidered it there. So I got this one, which is a Samsung S23, not the Ultra. So it's regular, it's a smaller size, but I got it because, okay, this is how you know that I'm like an extreme fashionista, right? I got because I wanted to fit in purses better. I was thinking like, because reading the reviews, they're like, this is a true one-hand phone. You can do everything with one hand just fine. It's perfect. And I was thinking, yeah, and it's going to fit in my purse really well. Because I just find I have this bigger phone. There's a bunch of my purses. It just doesn't fit in quite right. It sticks out. It's a little bit too large. And now it's going to fit in perfectly. And I've actually got this really nice sort of like shoulder strap phone case thing. So it's like a phone wallet. I'm really happy with it. I'm super, super stoked. Yeah, so group follow-up in 1 week. Okay, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. So it's a group follow-up, but you can optionally purchase additional one-on-one if you want to. But I think that'll be good, right? Like you'll get the initial instruction, we'll get everything up and running. I think we actually probably do the group follow-up maybe a little bit longer than 1 week. The reason why is that I am a very strong proponent of using the Amazon attribution data for testing things. I think it's silly. I was trying to think of a nicer word than silly. It's silly not to use it. But the problem is it takes a while to populate. So you have to wait about a week before you start to get good data. So I think we might need to do the follow-up like a week and a half to 2 weeks so that we can be sure that we have solid data. And a week might be enough, but sometimes Amazon has slowdowns in processing. They've definitely had some of those this June where attribution data has had delays, and they had the massive AWS outage on Tuesday, which didn't help either. So the time lag is annoying, but and I wish it wasn't there, but I understand why it's there from a technical standpoint, and I'm willing to deal with it just to sort of like get the data, because we used to have the same time lag plus terrible data with affiliate links, and your other option was no data. So I'll take it if they could figure out a way to improve it. But I think that like at a certain point, Amazon is not going to invest a ton of money into timeliness for data. I mean, we've seen it with AWS. AWS data is not timely, and they have, a lot of reasons to make that good. In fact, I don't know if you guys know, but the rest of the Amazon world got attribution links a year before authors did. It was out for people who use the Advantage Central and Seller Central platform a whole year before we got it, which we got last October. So, and even then, and that's for all these big companies doing big company things, and they're still not, it still isn't like timely. Yeah, well, yeah, and most people do use traffic ads. That's what most of us are doing, Vicky. But we manage. You kind of, it depends. If you're very heavy KU, then yeah, you're kind of screwed. A lot of authors are actually roughly 50-50 split. Some authors are actually authors that I work with, a number of them who are wide, it's actually even better for them because they know right away, is it working, is it not? Well, by right away, I mean like in a day or two versus 5 to 7 days. But the tricky thing too, part of this time lag that you'll never get away with from a KU standpoint is if someone borrows your book, that doesn't mean they just start reading it immediately, right? They see your book, they borrow it, they put it in their Kindle library, and there's 7 other books in front of yours. So it's actually like human reading habits. Now, if Amazon gave us borrow stats and we could see when we got to borrow, that would be a game changer, because then we could like determine like, okay, on average, when I get 10 borrows, I start seeing, I'll see the reads from those borrows come in 5 days later. Like we could kind of all work out for us what we normally see. And then you could be much better predicting things. But right now we have to wait for the actual reading to be done, which is infuriating. But it is just a process of learning to be patient with it all. And I've worked with a number of authors now, and they're like, but I just want to know now. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't. You're just going to have to wait. I'm sorry. So that's that. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I'll check out books in KU and not start reading them at all. Maybe it might even be a month or more. It's an interesting thing too. A lot of times with people, what we'll do is we'll take an ad and we'll just spin it up for a week, and then we'll turn it off, and then we'll wait a week or two for the data, and then we'll look at the data that came in for that ad, so we don't have to leave the ad running while we're not sure if it's working. And that can be another way to do it too. If you're like in a testing phase and you want to try a bunch of different images and different copy, testing out different audience or something like that, spin up a bunch of ads, run them for 7 days, turn them off, and then in 2 weeks, in a week later, then analyze the data and see what you got, because it'll keep tracking the data. It just won't it won't be costing you anything new. So that's another way of going around that. I know, Vicky, aren't I smart? I should put that in my book, although it's probably too late. But yeah, I feel like I'm out of steam for things to talk about today. I'm actually kind of jonesing to play with my new phone again too. It's like lavender. It's so pretty. Although it's just kind of funny, right? Like it's going to get covered up, but it's got a really good camera on it, and I'm the selfie queen, so I'm actually really excited to have a good low light camera because my current camera sucks in low light, and I seem to just always be taking pictures in low light, so I'm happy about that. Other random Mallory news, I'm doing more blueberry sage stuff again, which I'm excited about. So I'm gonna have some new blueberry sage gardening content for anybody who watches that. I'll be recording that on Saturday. And then if you are interested, by the way, in that VIP romance novels advertising day, reach out to Jill and she'll get you squared away with that. Like I said, we have 2 spots left there. And then if you do want to do one-on-one ad consulting with us, you can also reach out to Jill. We are currently booked through the end of July. I think Felicia, who's one of our ad experts, and Eliza both have some availability in July. We're all booked in June. I'm booked in July. So right now, anybody who wants to work with me, the first available dates are August. So if you did want to work with us, you should dive into that sooner rather than later, because by the time summer is done, we'll probably be booked almost all the way till the end of the year. Like into November for sure by the time summer is done. So don't wait. I know it sounds really salesy, but at the same time, I talk with so many people and they're desperate to get in because they want to get some ads. They've got a series they completed. They're launching a box set and they want to get ads running for that. And then I tell them how long it is and they are dismayed. So I just did want to let you know. Oh yeah, gardening. I do gardening videos, plus other random I'm a weird person videos under the name Blueberry Sage. It's on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and all that, and Facebook too. But I wear head to toe latex and a gas mask while I do it because why not? I do this whole thing where I'm a post-apocalyptic gardener, and I've got like a whole storyline that goes along with it and everything. Do you run ads for kids' books? Those are the hardest things to run ads for, and they're generally only profitable around the holidays. It's pretty hard to run year-long profitable kids book ads. YA, like teen ads, are a little bit easier to do, but young kids books, it's hard to do profitable ads for those times other than Christmas. So it can be done though, but usually just like November through the end of January is the only times that they typically work for. So I feel like that's all I have to say today. I'm out of words, unless anybody has any more questions. But if not, then I am going to jet and play with my phone before my afternoon calls. Middle grade is, yeah. Oh, that was Jill's question. Yeah, middle grade is a little bit easier to do. I think I said YA. I meant to say middle grade. Dad joke books. Yeah, I could see ads for your dad joke books to be expensive too. I bet you those might do well at Christmas time too, because they're like going to be like gag gifts to get for people or something like that. They may not be ones that you can profitably advertise at other times a year. Yeah, children picture books, Eva. Yeah, those are amongst the hardest books to advertise. I mean, really what you've got to do is you've got to advertise them to the parents, and there are targets on Facebook for like grandparents and people with kids of certain ages. Like you could search for like one of the targets, like parents of kids from like 2 to 6 or something like that. There's a bunch of different age ranges. I forget what the breakdowns are. There's also ones for parents, single parents, grandparents. There's a whole slew of different ones, so you could try those. Like new parents is an interest on Facebook, so that might be a way to go as well with those. Yeah, a bundle on Kickstarter is a great idea. Jill knows the things. I would totally give that a shot. I guess you could also look around too. I'm sure if you look for kids books on Kickstarter or children's books on Kickstarter, you'll find existing ones and you can see what they did and how much money they made. I'm guessing Jill's looked into it before, probably because Jill's backed them before. I've been betting that's what it is. Oh yeah, Father's Day is probably another good one. Of course, yeah. Yep, that would totally work too. All right, folks, it has been fun jawing with you. I will be back next week with more lunch with Mal. I forgot what this is called for a second. Jill said I should try and do it early, like do breakfast with Mal or second breakfast with Mal or something like that. So who knows? Things could change up. But as always, I enjoy chatting with you folks, and I hope that you have a fantastic time. All right. Or a fantastic day, time, day, whatever you do, may it be fantastic. All right. Bye.